What do you want for the future of Israel and the Jewish people? Is it social justice and religious equality? Lasting peace and security? Or maybe it's pluralism, youth empowerment, or equality for all women? Have your say and sign up for a free Arzenu membership today. Your voice matters, and together we can support progressive Jewish values at the World Zionist Congress in Israel and for the Jewish people. Over the last 40 years, Arzenu has been the most successful progressive body fighting for equality in Israel and representation abroad.
Hello, my name is Helen Shardy. I am president of Arzenu Australia. I was elected to that position in November of last year after a visit to Israel with two of my colleagues for the Vad Hapoel in October. We're looking out at a beautiful sunny day here in Australia. I hope you all did well over the fast for Yom Kippur, and I presume like us you saw your services virtually as we did here. I want to talk to you about the World Zionist Congress. The animation you have just seen was part of the Arzenu Australia campaign for the World Zionist Congress to maximise our membership and therefore the number of mandates we would receive. Our campaign had three elements. Firstly, to develop a comprehensive membership list to facilitate communication with members. This has been achieved mostly through a great deal of work by Philip Levy, who's on our board. But that is going to prove very important in communicating to our members. Secondly, we sought to develop a communication strategy to all progressive Jewish congregational members. Part of that strategy was to use the animation that you have just seen. Thirdly, we undertook to speak to all progressive Jews about Zionism, about Israel, particularly about the key issues such as annexation, the peace agreements with the Arab states, gender equality, and pluralism for all streams of Judaism in Israel. To this end, I write a weekly drash, or small article, which is emailed to about 6,500 people. Our membership since early this year has increased by 30%. So we now have 2,750 members of the Arzenu organisation itself. We maintained our 4 mandates to the World Zionist Congress and became the largest organisation, or Zionist organisation, in Australia today. In theory, we would probably deserve more than 4 mandates, but to be honest, to keep the peace, we decided to accept that number as we had previously. Our next video clip is to show you a video that was sent from Anat Hoffman to Australia that was sent to all our members and members of progressive Jewish congregations. This video clip is to tell people about progressive Judaism and why they should support progressive Judaism in Australia and in Israel. I would therefore like to close by wishing you all Hag Sukkot Sameach. Thank you.
At last, I'm asked a question I can answer easily. Why should you contribute from Arzenu Australia to Israel? And what have you done so far in Israel? It's such an easy question, such an easy answer. You've made a difference. First, you sent us Nikki Maor, the foremost lawyer in Israel on issues of immigration. But besides that, you have supported and funded the work of the Legal Aid Center for New Immigrants, which has dealt with 60,000 people so far. You have underwritten our legal department that fights for the Israel movement for progressive Judaism and made the reform movement strong. We've received 20 million shekel from the government this year. Behind every one of those shekalim stands a lawyer that you funded to support an alternative in Judaism in Israel. Israel is the most important Jewish project of our lifetime. By contributing to Arzenu, you are partaking in this important project, and my wonderful job is to be your person on the ground. So thank you so much, and continue the good work. Go Australia.
You are watching one of the most special events at the North American Reform Biennial, our Arts Canada meet and greet reception for Israeli and Canadian delegates. I'm sure you can feel the ruach, the spirit, and the strong bonds between our two Reformed communities in Israel and Canada. Shalom Chaverim. Hello, dear friends. I'm Miriam Perlman, and I'm so proud of how our organization has grown and strengthened over these past 5 years. You know, people often ask me, what does Arts of Canada do? And I like to say we work on both sides of the ocean. In Canada, we work with the Reform Jewish community and our 25 congregations to strengthen and deepen Israel engagement. In Israel, we work with our Israeli colleagues to promote, support, and help grow the Israel Reform movement. Arts of Canada is the Zionist voice and advocacy arm for the Canadian Reform movement. We are highly respected among the many Zionist and progressive organizations. And in fact, I'm very proud to tell you that through our hard work and increased membership, Arts of Canada has emerged as the strongest organization in the Canadian Zionist Federation, winning the largest number of mandates for this Congress. So what do? We keep in touch with our membership through social media, newsletters, email blasts, and more. We work directly with our Canadian Reform congregations to support Israeli programs and special events. We sponsor Israeli Reform clergy and leaders to travel across Canada, and yes, even during our very cold winters, to visit congregations, to teach, and to build partnerships. In order to engage our youth and young adults, Arts of Canada offers scholarships to study and reform programs in Israel. We also contribute to Israeli programs at Camp George, the one Reform summer camp in Canada. And with regard to Israel, in normal times, we travel to Israel for organized events, conventions and conferences, congregational missions, visiting Israeli Reform communities, deepening our partnerships, and building meaningful relationships. In normal times, Arts of Canada sends a minimum of 18% of our revenue to IMPJ. So in this COVID time, we had to become creative. We did something innovative and unique. We raised almost $100,000 for IMPJ through a virtual Rise for Reform fundraiser with inspiring music called Programs and Stories from both Israeli and Canadian clergy, staff, and lay leaders. It was a call to action for Canadian Reform Jews. It was an exciting, inspiring, bonding, and successful fundraising event. Arts of Canada is led by a strong, entirely volunteer executive and board. We are passionate about our love for Israel and about working together for a pluralistic, democratic, and Jewish state of Israel. May we go together from strength to strength.
The Department of Diaspora Affairs aims to connect Jews from all around the world to Israel and Zionism. We encourage everyone to explore their Zionist identity in their own way, and we offer Israel as a tool in creating constructive conversation about identity. We run our variety of programs in every corner of the globe. This is how we do it. Zionism, in my eyes, is the fact that no matter where you live, you have Israel as part of your identity. It's hard to be a Jew. It's even harder when you know that the state of Israel is not respectful to the streams, to women's rights. We didn't forget what is our obligation, bringing a message into the Israeli society.
Zionist leader Theodor Herzl, whose dream led to the creation of the State of Israel. This weekend, an Israeli delegation of thought and cultural leaders will be tracing the steps of the visionary during his years in Europe.
להופיע לפני צעירים מכל העולם, מכל התנועות, הזרמים, מהתנועות הנוער וכמובן מהמכינות, ולפתח דיון שבו באולם יושבים צעירים מהתפוצות וצעירים בארץ ביחד, ללמוד על התפוצות זה דבר עצום, זה משרת מאוד את המטרה. אני מודה לגוסטי ברוורמן על היוזמה ולכל המחלקה המצוינת שלה בהסתדרות הציונית.
They are shocked to meet me representing a national institution and expressing a different way of mutual respect. Israel is not about only politics, right, left, orthodox, non-orthodox. Israel stands for something bigger.
הארגונים מאיימים כי אם ההופעה לא תבוטל, הם יפסיקו את התרומות להסתדרות הציונית.
It was a good sign for the liberal parts of the Jewish people to say Judaism, Israel belongs to the entire Jewish people.
Now I'm gonna say thank you. ארצנו עולמי, ארצנו, ארצנו אהובה.
To allow the discourse, to allow the conflict, to allow people to voice their opinion with one aim, to keep them connected to the state of Israel.
מונופול, אטילה, זה המשחק הכי כיף שיש. מונופוליטי.
Good morning, class. Today we are going to exercise our street humor. What you tell them, what you tell them, what you tell them.
תיפתח כאן בטקס חגיגי בית העם. הסטודנטים היהודים נאלצים לנדוד לעיר הבירה כדי לרכוש השכלה, ולא יכולים לעשות כל שבוע את הדרך הארוכה לכפר.
It's important for us to be in any community, small communities around the world.
Shabbat shalom to you.
We need to embrace those that decided to live wherever they decide to live, to provide them a bridge, a connection, a safe venue to express their feelings towards Israel. More we will secure the next generation. I would like to thank our main partners around the world, and especially to thank the department staff in making the vision into reality. I would like to conclude these 5 years with a phrase from פרקי אבות: לא עליך המלאכה לגמור, ואין אתה חופשי להיבטל ממנה. Good luck to all of us.
Cases so far have been detected and confirmed in the U.S.
8 more countries announced their first cases on Friday.
The world is changing.
Shalom, good evening.
Shalom everyone.
Buenas noches a todos.
Welcome to our
iVision en vivo en español.
iVision Live is brought to you by the Department of Diaspora Affairs and World Zionist Organization, led from Jerusalem by Gusti Yoshua Braverman.
Thank you for joining us in this important evening.
Aujourd'hui, nous avons un programme très intéressant.
The initial plan for this evening was to discuss the different fractions in the Israel society.
iVision Live is our response to these weird days of coronavirus.
We're trying to make the best of what's happening.
We have people from 13 countries.
And it's great to see so many great people from all around the world.
Stay healthy and let's hope for better days soon.
בעיצומם של ימי הבידוד, ההסתדרות הציונית העולמית יזמה תחרות צילומים בקרב קהילות יהודיות בעולם.
And here we go again. Ready?
It's about time to accept that we can and we should respect each other to create a better future.